Hi, this is Matthew. I'm going to talk about a little bit what a radio reading service is and how you might connect to it and kind of how it works a little bit. Will I understand about how it works? Radio reading service is a special service for blind and visually impaired people where they read locally newspapers, magazines, books. May have some other programs about blindness or something. Some read grocery store ads and stuff as well. They've been around since 1967, I think was the very first one out there. And going from there, some have closed down, others have stayed open. Some came on a little bit later. Most people access them with a special radio. I forget the exact SCA is what it's. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but Oxford subcarrier audio. But there's another abbreviation for it, which I've forgotten the letters that make that up. What that is. It is a special type of radio that picks up a certain range of portion of the signal of the FM signal the station's on. It's in the carrier. There's little different things in there. For example, I know there's what's called a pilot tone in there that will, I guess, kind of sync everything up. You also have your stereo FM signal that you always get. Then you also in there, that same hidden inside of that is a mono signal for other radios or radios that can't get it. Then you may have this reading service I talked about at 67 kilohertz or 92 kilohertz. Most are at 67. And then sometimes now in there too you have HD radio, which is a different way to get multiple streams of something on one station. You have, of course, the regular, but you also have the HD signal of the main station. And then our reading service here in Springfield is on the NPR. They have an HD2 that is mostly jazz. They have some other programming there. So there's two signals there. And some may have an HD3, perhaps, of like BBC World Service or something. We don't have that. I wish we did. We don't. We just have it at night, but this would be like a full-time version of it, maybe with occasional like things from the station or that NPR is funding it. Sometimes there's even a 4. It could be some other kind of programming of some other type. We don't have those here. When I got to go to my aunt near San Antonio, I got to go to Dallas, and they do have a few HD4s there. They don't sound very good. Your magnetic signal sounds really good. Then you have some compressed audio, sometimes on your 2, 3, and 4. Sometimes, depending on who's setting them up. But I'll just say that all that stuff is hiding inside of, or just who knew that the station that you're on may have other things inside of it that you didn't know about. And that's what this reading service signal is. Usually you have to have a specific radio that they give you, that they have gotten from somewhere, and they lock that radio in, and you can't change it. It's always on that frequency. There's a few models that you can put 4 or 5 in. If like I have one of those, and because sometimes I would go to Topeka and whatnot. I had all those frequencies in there. Springfield wasn't here at the time. So I have 2 slots on mine open still that I could fill if I want to send it back in. Then you have some that will let you have the whole spectrum. You can just tune it like a radio. I have one of these. I don't remember what it was called. It's been called a few different things. I got it on Amazon. It was only $20. A little tiny thing. But it does pull in that signal, which is what I wanted for. It will do the 62 and the 92 kilohertz, the 67 and 92 kilohertz signals, I should say. It also does the FM. Some will do AM as well. I don't know how well they receive AM. I've never seen one of those. I don't have one because it was way more than I wanted to pay. It was $100 some. If I'm going to pay $100 some, I'll get like a one that has shortwave and stuff on it. Not just for that. I just was kind of like irritated. I'd like to see how sensitive they would be on AM. I don't know. Probably. I doubt it's very good, but I don't know. I've heard it's not, but I haven't gotten to test one. Yeah, that's usually how they work. Of course, now there are a few, like in Memphis and New Orleans, that actually have it on the FM dial, like at the bottom of the dial. I've seen the Memphis firsthand. I had heard that there was something there before I went in 2018 for a weekend, and found it. And yes, yeah, it's only in mono. But they also carry, like, they have, like, your reading service, your magazines, your books, all that. They also carry the local news. And I think they have, like, NBC News or something on there also. So that's a little different. So some even have old-time radio, in fact, or other dramas. There's no real set thing that you have to take, I guess. You can do kind of whatever you want when you're making a schedule up. In fact, ours even has adult programming on Saturday nights at midnight, which with heavy disclaimers about what you're hearing. There's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of newspapers, magazines, different kinds of books, fiction, nonfiction, whatever, lots of stuff. Of course, now you also can have apps to connect to. You can connect to the stream online. A lot of skills on smart speakers now. You can go enable and they just work. There's no logins or anything. It just, if you're supposed to use this, fine. If not, you shouldn't use it. But I know some you can kind of circumvent it. Some used to password their signal. I don't know how common that still is. But I was, like the one for here, they had one. And it was published in their little guide, the schedule guide that you could get every month, which is now quarterly now, I think, or every few months. But it used to have it in the back, like, oh, if I had known that, I would have listened earlier. It was very easy, because based on where Audio Reader is in KU campus, Kansas, University of Kansas campus, I knew exactly what that password was. I could have figured that out immediately, but I didn't. But there's just different ways of connecting to it. I really feel that you shouldn't always... This radio stuff should always be there. Some are trying to get rid of them. But you don't always know how someone's going to connect to something. That everybody can connect to technology very well, or has the technology, or has good internet. So the radio stuff should always be there somehow. They can just turn it on and it works, turn it off when they're done, come back to it. But I don't like short-sighted kind of like, we're only thinking about the money here. And you need to have all kinds of different ways of connecting to it, because you don't know what someone's skill level is, or what they have, or what they can afford, or if they want the technology. Some don't want the technology at all. So there should be, I think, multiple ways of connecting to something like this. I think it's still very much needed. I like to tune in sometimes. In fact, I've heard some books this way. No one else had the book. Or, in fact, there was a guy that kind of continued the James Bond books in the style of Ian Fleming, and so I read that book that way. Except the last broadcast I couldn't find, so I had to go to Bard to finish it. That was kind of jarring, hearing two different readers reading that book. It just won like one chapter or two that just, for some reason, the archive didn't go up there right, and it wasn't working or something. I don't remember what it was, but I had to go to Bard to read the rest of the book. I was like, I want to know the rest of it. But I heard most of it just tuning in either on that night or the next morning, waking up and pulling that archive down, or podcasts now. But there's all kinds of ways. If you do miss a program, you can usually get it afterwards for a week or a few weeks or a month or something. They don't keep them super long, which is sad, because books, you might, oh gosh, like 7 months ago they read that book, I want to read that book, and it's gone. But I feel books could be kept in some way. I don't know how, but especially that narrator, like you're not going to find that any other way because they've recorded it locally usually, or they've taken it from another service. A lot of times people will borrow, like stuff from other reading services they don't have. They can, I guess, get that program if they don't have. So that can read it, they can get it from like I know we pull from like Arizona and a few other places. And some places pull from Audio Reader because you'll hear like in between the next hour, you'll hear like the stuff in between like the commercials of what's coming up next. Like what service they're using, that will tell you. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting too. People will share programs with each other, and especially like newspapers and stuff. If they don't have the ability to get it, or they just whatever reason they can't get someone to read it or something, they can pull it from another service, and they'll read it, and you'll get stuff from who that is. And, I want to go hear more from. I like those guys. I want to hear more from that service. So you can go look them up. But yeah, I think they're very useful, very interesting. It's fun just to turn on the radio and see what they're reading. Like, oh, okay, they're reading that magazine now, or they're reading that paper, or whatever. You can tune in if you want to go back later and online. If you have a way to, then great. You're like, I wanted to hear that. I cut like part of that first article. I want to hear the whole article. You may could pull it from there, or if you have a way to get to that newspaper, you could read it yourselves. But not everybody can afford newspapers. So, I'll just go back. I'll wait a little bit, catch that. Look a little bit later and go look for that paper. You'll go into there and find that today's broadcast and go, okay, I'll go hear the first 10 minutes because I missed part of that article, but heard the rest of it, or maybe I want to hear it again, or what was that story about? Just I find them very interesting, very informative, neat things. Not everybody has them, but at least with the internet now, you should be able to listen to them now most of the time, so which is good. Of course, them having apps too, and of course there is what's called Newsline. You can read some papers on, but they don't always show up as the same way the papers do. But you can usually find the articles. But lots of ways, and I just think they're very useful services. I just thought I would talk a little bit about them and kind of how they work a little bit, how you can connect. Just if you want to find one wherever you are, just look for radio reading service, and maybe put your state next to it, or somewhere in that search, phrase that it will go and find it. Or maybe you've heard of one, you can just search for its name, but you can like Radio Reading Services Maine or whatever and find something. Or maybe some might from another state maybe especially if you border one, you can still get it, or nothing else, you can just pull up the stream online if you don't need service itself, but you could still say, hey, I like your service. You might email them and tell them you're listening to it. That way they know who's out there. I think that'll do it for now, though. I've got some severe weather kind of in the area today. I don't want to get interrupted. I'm not sure that I will, but just in case, I want to get this up there in case I have to move. I don't think I will, but severe weather can be kind of tricky if there's tornadoes running around. So I think I'll send this off and see you guys in another video.